Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Chaos Incarnate. Once again, we are here with another Beyblade Burst tier list part. And this time, we're going to be probably covering the rest of it, just to let it all go on through. I don't know, depends on how long this video winds up being. I might wind up cutting this into two parts. We shall see. Again, I am recording on OBS, so fair warning. Now, with all that said and done, let's get into it. Alright. So, quick system overview. Found this on Reddit. We've got single layers, dual layers, the god layers with the frame and the god chip, the energy layers for the Cho-Z system, the level chip, and now we're on to the GT system, which is the Gatinko chip, which just basically represents the motif, and it gives it the teeth, the layer weight, which does as it says, it shifts the weight and stuff like that. Then we have the layer base, which determines basically everything else. And then all this doesn't actively change ever. So, yeah. And we'll come back to this once we get to sparking. Anyway. First up on the GT series, we've got Ace Dragon. Alright, pretty solid start. The charge disc was fairly heavy. I'm gonna put this at B. Ace was okay for a blade. I forgot what the weight was called, but it's also fairly solid. Sting was a really good attack disc. Grand Dragon, I'm going to put it just below Ace Dragon, primarily because while it does have better stamina, Ace Dragon has these little burst stopper thingies hidden on the layer that make it harder to burst. So, yeah. Rock Dragon, easily the worst one, despite being built for defense, so this one's going in, that one's going, C tier. Yeah, that's Slash Valkyrie. I love this beta death, but, the Slash Blade isn't all that great, and its teeth are pretty easy to burst. Well, actually, no. The teeth are good, but the Bay itself, like the Slash Blade, makes it really easy to burst. Blitz, the Forge Disc, is really good for attack, but the Power Driver just ain't all that. Bushin Ashura, worse than Rock Dragon. Despite being a defense type, this thing is paper thin to burst. The Hurricane Disc, while a cool free-spinning gimmick, doesn't do shit. And the Keep Driver is ass. Wizard Fafnir, it's gonna go right above. Yeah. An insane amount of rubber. And seeing as we're going stock, I'm only gonna go Mold 1 Wizard Fafnir. Basically, molds determine things like the teeth and the bay's durability. Mold 1 Wizard Fafnir's teeth were insanely thin. Mold 2 was stronger, but we're going off stock here. Really easy to burst. Its stamina wasn't all that great. I mean, it had great LAD, but, yeah. And the rubber, just way too much of it, way too easy to burst. Judgment Joker. I'm gonna put this on stock. It's right around the same level as Slash Valkyrie, because, Judgment Joker has these two big rubber blades for attack power. One side of it, I believe I can see it's right here, has extra rubber to help with burst resistance. And Double O, really heavy disc. The turn frame is okay. It doesn't scrape nearly as much on Judgment. And the Trick Driver, Trick is, yeah, it's okay. It's not great. I've seen this thing both get some really good and really weird results, so Zwei Longinus is automatically going up into A tier. Really heavy bay. The Drake disc was, the shape was good, but it was really light. Spiral Dash, really good burst resistance. Yeah, other than the stamina and this thing losing control, it was really good all around. Oh, here's one I'm conflicted on. Venom Diabolos. Oh, boy. I'm going to put that one in between these two, because the Venom Blade is insanely good. The Diabolos chip, really heavy. Vanguard, not all that great for a disc. It's like Drake, but worse. And then the bullet driver, basically how it would work is this thing gets hit hard enough and it would split off, allowing the bay to basically have a mini version of itself, and the gimmick sucked. Like, it made the bay look like a pogo stick. So, yeah, but the Venom Blade and the Heavy Lock Chip, Heavy Lock Chip really help. Erase Diabolos, basically the same thing, but worse. Erase, it's an alright layer. It's not all that great. Lower B tier. Poison Hydra, or Cobra. Yeah, this thing was just a layer, as far as I'm aware. Like, there was no actual combo for it other than Pro Series. Yeah, this is going... I'm going to put it right around here. Solid for defense, but not overly great. Heaven Pegasus. This thing would be good if its gimmick worked. So basically, its gimmick is it would have these two wings that would pop out, and they would basically, you push them in, and the burst resistance would get set back, so kind of like healing itself. Heaven Pegasus would work better if its gimmick worked more often. Low, pretty solid stamina driver, similar to Eternal on Archer Hercules, only it's made of metal. 10, really good stamina disc, proof, really good stamina frame, so I can bump this up a bit. It's not great, though. Like, this thing's LAD puts it above Erase Diabolos. Dread Bahamut. 7-wall metal orbits. Orbit metal, yeah. I think I might put this up here. The unique feature on this one is its defense. It's same gimmick as the last Bahamuts, wherever I wound up putting that. Yeah, I completely lost track of it. Anyway, but how this would work is... Oh, there it is. Basically the same gimmick. It takes damage, it becomes more circular, and bada bing, bada boom, suddenly its defense power rises. But the layer weight is made of rubber. And the Gen weight basically provides something similar to the Chozy lock system, where it interferes with the disc and makes it harder to burst. And it can wear down over time, but that's what replacements are for. But this does drastically reduce its weight. So, overall, really good bay, especially on defense, but if you can knock it out, you're smooth sailing. Lord Spriggan. Oh, God. Oh, whoops. Hang on. Okay, yeah, hold on. The strongest Beyblade of all time until Beyblade Burst Sparking. This thing, the Blitz disc is insanely good. It can still spin left or right. It has these two big rubber blades, like Judgment Joker. It has the same burst stoppers that Ace Dragon does. And Dimension Dash, while Dimension isn't the best driver, it has insane burst resistance. So, yeah, this thing was basically untouchable. Union Achilles. A case of where they tried to do too much. Yeah. Actually, no, hold on. I'm going to put this into lower A tier. Union Achilles, basically how it would work is, you see these two blue swords, you could take them off and make it lighter, which I wouldn't recommend doing because it just performs worse. But Extend Plus, reuse driver, but a good one. The Converge disc, I believe it was called, could shift weight from one side to the other, almost like Alter Chronos. So that would allow it to go off balance. Problem is that it's scraped quite a bit, so... yeah, I can't see this thing getting any higher. It would absolutely wash Slash Valkyrie any day, though. Knockout Odin. I don't remember if this thing had an actual combo. I just remember it was incredibly small, and it came with, again, weight of its own. Gonna put you there. Yeah, that'll work. Anyway, Prime Apocalypse. Finally, a new type of burst stopper. The Infinite Lock System. Low S tier. See, the parts were Zero, Dagger, Ultimate Reboot, Dash. And basically how this bay would work is the layer would rotate freely. Like, anytime it took quote-unquote damage, the teeth would just loop back around. And it would never be able to burst unless you got the center to be red, like it is here. So basically, what winds up happening is you push in this little sword at the bottom, and if it's red, it'll burst. But if it's not, or if it is and you miss, you have to try again, and again, and again. And it's basically just a constant battle of getting the timing right. Okay. Regalia Genesis. Okay. Kind of a similar boat to Prime Apocalypse, Infinite Lock System, and all that, but it's easier to burst because it has counterpoint on both sides. And yeah, I'd say this thing is just overall a weaker Prime Apocalypse. Imperial Dragon. Okay. This thing had an electric driver, kind of like Regalia Genesis, forgot to mention that. And it was called Ignition. And basically, it would allow the bay to start moving backwards. Not necessarily spin in reverse, but just move the other way. The layer could awaken, as these blades could, as it's already in the awakened position, and the blades were also spring-loaded. Pretty damn good, but not the best thing, and definitely not something to write home about. So, yeah. Okay. Master Diabolos. We're really getting into an era where bays are starting to have a lot less forge discs. Master Diabolos is single-handedly the best of the main 3 Diabolos bays. And, how this one works is it was dual spin, again, but the layer could switch sides, like it could flip over. And basically that would make it so left spin had greater defense power, while right spin had more attack power. And the generate driver was discless, and it was kind of like Final Survive on Eldrago Destroy, where when it got to a slower spin speed, it would shift to stamina mode. And while that gimmick's not all that great in practice, it's still pretty damn viable while it's aggressive, so yeah. Big Bang Genesis. Going off stock, 0-yard metal. And it's getting pretty high up. I'm going to put it right around here. So, basically the same weakness as Regalia Genesis, a burst point on both sides, but it has the Big Bang armor. You see that red stuff there? Yeah. So, how this would work is if you get it to red, and you hit the burst point, the armor would help prevent it from bursting. So the most concrete way to get this thing to burst is to get the armor off. That's not easy, but it is possible. Yard Metal wasn't the best. Like, it was really good for LAD and stuff like that. Zero was starting to get outclassed by this point. Yeah. 1 second. Anyway. Now we move on to Sparking. Wow, this generation ended sooner than I thought it did. Let me see how long this list is. Okay. Super Hyperion. I mean, this one's already getting off to a pretty damn strong start. We're going mid-8 here. So, alright, layer, or the system. So, Sparking has 2 methods here. You got single or double chassis and single chassis. You have chip core, Sparking ship, the ring. The double chassis could replace the disc, and the single chassis allowed you to use prior forged discs. And, yeah, double chassis are just better. I wish I could sugarcoat that. Super Hyperion, really good shape for attack. The Exceed driver was insanely powerful. Burst resistance was solid. 1A was a good chassis. Overall, yeah, pretty good. Okay, King Helios. It's getting a mid-B tier. So, King Helios, the zone driver is pretty good for LAD. Let's see. 1B is... it's an alright chassis. But the King Ring sucks. Like, you could, get it to quote-unquote line up in either attack or defense mode. But, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't all that great, and sometimes it would struggle to keep itself balanced. Also, not sure how many people have noticed this, but Helios, Diabolos, and Hell Salamander, wherever I put it, all share the whole left spin 5 blade motif. Anyway, Glide Ragnarok. I might sound like I'm biased when I'm saying this, but I'm putting this above King Helios. I understand the Ragnaroks kind of have a notorious habit of getting their asses kicked, but Glide Ragnarok was insanely heavy. Layer was really good for stamina. 1S, low burst resistance, was still pretty heavy. The wheel disc was the heaviest disc. Revolve, hate the burst resistance, but can't argue with the stamina it gets. But if you pit this thing up against an attack type, it bursts like sandpaper. Brave Valkyrie. Okay. It'd be a disservice to not put this at least pretty high. It's low S. Because, for reference, this thing beats Lord Spriggan. But, it's not the pinnacle in Beyblade Burst Sparking. Brave, the ring, is basically entirely made of rubber. It's not all that great. It's actually better for stamina than it is attack. 2A is... it's alright for attack, but not the best thing. 1A is still better. But Evolution Dash carries this combo so fucking hard. Like, it gives it insane burst resistance, and the moment it awakens, that thing's raw power skyrockets. So, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty damn good. Curse Satan, I'm gonna put this above Helios, but below Ragnarok. It had better burst resistance than Ragnarok, but the Universe driver, as you can see here at the bottom, the purple one, horrible stamina, great LAD though. The Hurricane Disc, again, not doing shit. The 5 rollers, just like with the prior Satan, Curse Satan, or no, Christ Satan, yeah, doesn't do shit. Especially seeing as they're on top of the layer instead of on the side. Yeah, I want to check something. Anyway, sorry. Mirage Fafnir. It's going right around the same gradient, if not... Actually, yeah, it's going higher than Super Hyperion. So... the entire ring is coated in rubber. The chassis, 2S, could swap between absorb and counter mode. And nothing, while really good for defense, isn't the best driver for stamina. Its burst resistance was also a little low, but it was still pretty good. Rage Longinus, the GOAT! Yeah, sorry. If I ever say that again, please slap me in the face. So, Rage Longinus, top of the hierarchy, no fucking question. Insanely heavy. 3A is a great attack chassis, and Destroy Dash has insane burst resistance and life after death. I think this is one of the only sparking bays I've seen be able to burst Brave Valkyrie. First Uranus, yeah, it's not all that great. Low B tier. Anyway, Variant Lucifer, oh boy. Think this is the only sparking bay I'm going to... Actually, I'm going to put it in B tier. And the reason I say this is because against right spin bays, it can't do a thing. Like the barrier gimmick, those pink tongues suck. It loses way too much stamina. But against left spin bays, that is a great equalizer. Like, you pit this thing against the left spin, and you've basically got a guaranteed win or draw on your hands. So, yeah. Death Diabolos. Forgot what the frame was, but it was 7 merge dash. Bottom of A tier. Okay, so Death Diabolos, really heavy sparking chip core. Merge dash has pretty good burst resistance, and the Death Blade, well, not the best, is a pretty good alternative if you don't have any of the other attack layers. Erase Diabolos is basically everything Death Diabolos was, but worse. Same tier as Curse Satan. Tempest Dragon. Okay. Insanely heavy. The bound gimmick can awaken again. Charge metal is really heavy. I believe it had 1A. Only attacker to be heavier than Rage Longinus. Its burst resistance was okay, but yeah, pretty good overall. World Spriggan. Okay. Let me see. And this thing's pretty good, but not great. Like, it's going above these two, primarily because it's left spin, and, well, it's dual spin, and it has really good burst resistance. I can switch between defense and attack mode, and it can spin left or right. It also has little burst stopper blades built into it, so yeah, that's at A tier. Though its life after death sucks because it has the Unite driver, so if you have anything A or S, you can take it down. Infinite Achilles. I'm not seeing its shield mode, so I'm probably just gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna have to include both on the same part. Well, actually, stock combo doesn't come with the shield, so... Yeah, okay. Infinite Achilles, really good attack layer, despite being a balance type. 1B, as we've already established, pretty good weight and all. Dimension Dash, same case with Lord Spriggan, really, really good for burst resistance. Helios Volcano. Yeah, this one's a massive upgrade over the first one. Another S tier band, put it around the same tier as Valkyrie. Its life after death is insanely good, and its burst resistance is through the roof. This is where we start getting into the limit break bays. And basically how these work is the limit break system is it gets to a certain burst point, and then a special ability activates. For Helios, its layer spins around, and it gets into like a more defensive spring-loaded position. So, yeah, I'd say that's the best one of the bunch. Hyperion Burn, massive downgrade. You're going right down here with the others. This one's gimmick was the 4 blades on the outside extend, and that's it. It also bursts insanely easily. Like, this thing has arguably worse burst resistance than Glider Ragnarok. Lucifer the End. The other good limit break bay. Massive upgrade over the first Lucifer, and it could actually fight right spin bays pretty well. Yeah, it's going on the same tier as those two. So how this one works was it would take damage, and then the blades on the layer would slam down, and it would give it the ability to have a free spinning layer on the outside, which drastically increased its defense. Its life after death was even better now, with the drift driver. Yeah, really good. I'd say this is one of the few bays that could counter Rage Longinus properly. Shit, what? Hollow Death Scyther. There we are. Okay, sorry. Had to remember the name. Hollow Death Scyther. That is getting into the lower echelons of A tier. So, how this one would work is it was a single chassis bay. Its parts were 12... axe for the frame, and high excel dash. Oh, right, there's high drivers. Basically, how those work is they're taller, and as for dash drivers, they're just harder to burst. So, this one's gimmick was the 4A attack chassis, and it's an uneven attack chassis. Basically, you can switch the chassis side to have weight on one side or the other. Like, if you shift it over to the scythe, it'll be off balance. If you shift it to the other side, it'll be smooth sailing. But single chassis bay and the 12 disc is insanely light, so you can just throttle it around. Jet Wyvern. I'm gonna put this one right above Curse Satan and next to Glide Ragnarok. So, Jet Wyvern, free spin layer on the outside, but it was only free spin in one direction. Left spin bays, if you tried to hit it with those, the free spinning blade on the outside would lock, and it would allow it to spin steal from left spin bays. Around for a forged disc was okay. It's pretty solid for defense, really heavy. But the just driver was trash. So yeah, premium ass. Never gonna do that bay again. Stamina was also insanely lackluster. And the last sparking bay, Death Solomon. It had the 2B chassis from World Spriggan and the metal fusion driver, or the fusion metal driver for its driver. Why did I say that? So it was really hard to burst. I'm going to bump this up a bit. But it lacked in just about every category. The Solomon chip was really heavy. But its stamina was okay. Its defense was okay. It was just okay in everything, but never excelling in anything at all. Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed today's video. I think next time I'm just gonna review the DB and BU bays, but I think this video is starting to drag out for a bit, so hope you all have a wonderful day, and